from Krishna. And before we do anything devotional service, actually we offer our obeisances to the higher authorities, because only by their mercy we can do anything, including reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, there's a Prabhupada godbrother, he's left the body many years ago, Srila Shira Swami, who said that even devotee before reading Srimad Bhagavatam should ask blessings from Guru, permission to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Imagine. And we see in the literature of the Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, before they write Kaviraj Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, before they write anything, they write so-called invocation, meaning prayers to, Rupa Goswami to give him blessings, or Krishna's Kaviraj in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Rupa Raghunatha Pade. What is the next? This he said, I'm actually praying to the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath to please continue this, writing this book. So whatever we do in Krishna consciousness is not on our own. Whatever we do is by the blessings of the previous acharyas, particularly Srila Prabhupada in our case. We have all this available, we have temples available, we have a holy name available, and we have an association of devotees available. And therefore we should never take it for granted. I was recently, with my wife, we travel a lot, so in one train station somewhere, there was a young girl, maybe 17, 18, and she dropped something in her purse. And my wife came, excuse me, you dropped something on the ground. And she just saw it, took it in her bag and left. Didn't even look. She didn't say thank you. She didn't even look back, So I was thinking, this is the symptomatic of people in the material world. Krishna is giving us air to breathe. Krishna is giving us the wind. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, of the purifier, I am the wind. He gives us the wind, the air, the fire. I am the fire of digestion, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna gives us all these gifts, and we just said, there is no God. Or a few years ago, 10, 15 years ago, there was this famous trio of the atheists, Christopher Hitchens and Richard Dawkins and one more, and they were making big propaganda in all the buses in London. It was written, God possibly does not exist. This was their propaganda. God doesn't exist. So this is totally ridiculous, and Krishna must be laughing. As everybody else, we're also laughing, but we should also never forget that whatever gifts of the nature we have, the food, the air, the fire, the water, which is all given by Krishna. And what to speak of giving us Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should read Srimad Bhagavatam with folded hands, and we should consider honored to be able to read Srimad Bhagavatam. And in this mood, we can actually maybe hopefully understand something of Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us offer our respectful obeisances to Srimad Bhagavatam 1.6.26. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet nachta prayesha baddeshu nitya bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utama shloki bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So today we'll read from this verse, continuation of the mood or the spirit of this meeting, the leadership, the qualities of leader, of a leader, of an ISKCON leader in particular. And we are all leaders in, bigger or lesser degree. We have a family, we are leader of the family. If you are brother and sister, older brother or older sister is a leader of the younger brother or younger sister. Parents are leaders of the children. Professors are leaders of the students. The temple presidents are leaders of the herd. How do you call this? Flock in Christian terminology, huh? Congregation in Christian terminology, flock, because he's a. Anyways, and so we all leaders in some way. The guru is the leader of the disciple. The sannyasi is actually a leader of the whole society. As I said, the sannyasis are the spiritual masters of the whole society. So everybody has a certain responsibility. So we continue to read about. I taught every devotee, Vaidyanatha Prabhu and Maharaj was yesterday speaking about different qualities of a leader. So I will speak today also the quality, I think, one particular quality that I think the leader should have at this particular moment. Because as we know, there's in each age, in each yuga, there's a different way of different process for attaining perfection. Kali Yuga is the holy name, the Satya Yuga is meditation. Valmiki Muni, 60,000 years meditating, 60,000. I don't think I can do 60 minutes. Imagine 60 minutes not thinking about anything, this is like impossible. And what to speak of, about elaborate deity worship or elaborate yagyas, we see Prithu Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam, where elaborate deity worship is like amazing. So at the same time, I think in this time of history, in ISKCON, I think particularly this particular quality, the leader should have or develop. Hare Krishna. And we will go to it. So now, showing the old age, glasses. Namanyanantasya hatatra papatan Guyani Badrani Kritani Chasmaran Gaparyatam Stushtamana Gatas Priha Kalam Pratiksham Vimado Vimatsaraha Namanyanantasya Hatatra Papatan Guhyani Badrani Kritani Chasmaran Gamparyatam Stushtamana Gatas Priha Kalam Pratikshan Vimado Vimatsaraha. Please. Ladies? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No human? Okay. Namani, the holy name, fame, etc. Anantasya, of the unlimited. Hatatrapa, being freed from all formalities of the material world. Patan, by recitation, repeated reading, etc. Guhyani, mysterious, Bhadrani, all benedictory, Kritani, activities, Cha, and Smaran, constantly remembering, Gam, on the earth, Paryatan, traveling all through, Tushtamanaha, fully satisfied, Gatasprihaha, completely freed from all material desires, Kalam, time, Pratikshan, awaiting, Vimadaha, without being proud, Vimatsaraha, without being envious. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Thus I began chanting the holy name and fame of the Lord by repeated recitation, ignoring all the formalities of the material world. Such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are benedictory. So doing, I traveled all over the earth, fully satisfied, humble, and unenvious. This is a verse spoken by Narada Muni. When his mother was bitten by a snake, he was 5 years old, and he took sannyas, you can say. He went to the forest, and he was practicing this meditation with the sages advised him or gave him instructions. And this is later on when he grew up. One day, he was walking in the forest, and he sat under the very beautiful banyan tree, and he absorbed in deep meditation of the Lord. And then, what happened? The Lord appeared to him and said, Haribol, Narada, I'm here as a fruit of your many years of meditation, austerities. Narada was traveling all over through the forests, through the mountains, through the river, riverlands, the valleys, cities, villages, so many years. And finally, Krishna rewarded him all his austerities and endeavor and showed himself to him. He gave him darshan. We call it darshan. Darshan means to see. So Krishna came to in front of him and he said, what's up? So Narada was, of course, overwhelmed, and he started, crying as usually devotees. You see Narada in Chaitanya Charitamrita, so much rolling on the ground, so much crying. So much crying, so much sweating, crying, rolling. And so Narada Muni did exactly this. He was before he was Narada Muni. And then suddenly the Lord disappeared. So then Narada was, okay, I do meditation again, So and then, but Krishna didn't show up, and he was forcing it, as they said, don't push it. He was pushing it. I want to have again darshan, 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 darshan. But the Lord cannot be seen by our own endeavor. The Lord can be seen only if He wants us to see Him. So the Lord did not show up, and Narada was very, as we call it in ISKCON, fried. He was really fried. And the Lord spoke to Narada Muni. My dear Narada, just a voice. You have seen me only once in person, and you will not see me anymore in this life. And Narada was like, oh my God, And he said, just keep on practicing this, and at the end of your life, you'll become liberated. And then on the end of his life, he became Narada Muni. So this is the point. After Krishna told him this, you saw me only once in person, and the next is this. So Narada was so ecstatic, and he said, he began to chant the holy name and fame of the Lord in repeated recitation. So this is an interesting point, this repeated recitation. We have so many times, Bhagavad Gita particularly, Maharaj was speaking yesterday about slow, doing things slow. And this is in Bhagavad Gita described, Shanai Shanair Uparamed. Krishna says, step for step. We don't do jump. Some people can jump. Some people do. Some crazy people, they join and they're like, wow, they can do it. And everybody says, when I joined, I was a little fanatical, I must say, and a little bit extraordinary fanatical, and everybody thought he's not going to make it, because usually people who are too fanatical, they don't last. It's very difficult, as Maharaj was just saying, to maintain this fired upness or this Krishna conscious level of advancement in a long period of time. And therefore, whenever I travel and I see senior devotees like Vaidyanatha Prabhu, 700 years in the movement, join, 1455, like, wow, you think these devotees chanting so many years, so many lectures, so many, prasadam, so many harinams. This is like an amazing thing. So we should value, I was thinking, this senior devotee should be like a national treasure, We should insure them, like a national treasure, because it's not easy to find devotees like this. We are insuring the trees. In Northern America, there's this redwood forest. Anybody been to Northern America? Redwood forest, beautiful trees are like 200 meters or something, very tall. And there's some trees which are, I don't want to exaggerate, but 5 meters in diameter or 10. There's a famous tree, the Americans, they cut the hole in the tree so you can drive through the tree. This is the famous tree, Tree is still alive, but just they cut the hole so you can drive. We went, as brahmacharis. Wow, this is so cool. But these trees, I'm sure, insured, because this is a national treasure. So we should have devotees, senior devotees, protect them as national treasure, because it's not easy to maintain such a high level of consciousness, to follow the principles, to chant Hare Krishna, to come for the programs. So we should value this very much. So come back to Narada Muni. He was repeated recitation, Nashta Prayasha Badeshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya. We should do daily Srimad Bhagavatam recitation. Read Srimad Bhagavatam, 1 verse a day. It's not much. Like now, Purushottam month, me and my wife, we read 15th chapter, Purushottam Yoga, every day. Luckily, there's only 20 verses, so it doesn't take too much time. But I said it cynically, luckily, it's Bhagavad Gita, transcendental literature. But Nitya Bhagavata Seva, daily, by daily recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, almost everything which is in the heart inauspicious will be destroyed, almost everything. So just by reading Bhagavad Gita every day, read 3 verses or 1 chapter, just every verse. This doesn't really take much time, 15 minutes. So, and of course, by daily chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We wake up in the morning, the first thing what we do, offer obeisance to the spiritual master, shower, and come back fired up to fight with our mind and chant Hare Krishna every day. Every day. Year after year after year. This is our, like food, as we call it, bread and butter. Srimad Bhagavatam and Japa, the holy name. So this is what Narada did. And this is particularly what I wanted to start with, the qualities of a leader in this particular verse, is ignoring all the formalities of the material world. That he actually just thought, I don't want to say to hell with everything, but I have my priorities. So this ignoring the formalities of material world doesn't mean we walk naked or whatever, or whatever people do nowadays. Ignoring means we have our priorities, and our priority is Krishna. Worshipping Krishna is our priority, nothing else. The other thing, we are dealing with this material world as accidental, unnecessary, or unfortunate circumstances. This is what we have. This is what the body we have, that we have to eat. Body. If I could, I would like not to sleep, but it's not possible. I tried once not to sleep. Many years ago, I tried to sleep 4 hours a day. Did you have anybody try 4 hours a day? Very difficult. You did? You sleep every day 4 hours? Today. But every day, And I tried, and I would sleep. This one Ayurvedic doctor, Russian Ayurvedic doctor. Somehow Russians always Ayurvedic doctors and the astrologers, and he told me how to sleep less. And I followed his instructions, and I was sleeping 4 hours. I would go to bed at midnight, at 12 o'clock, and I would wake up at 4 o'clock. And I would read Srimad Bhagavatam until midnight, and then, I wake up, and I was fired up, and not sleeping during the day, of course. And I did this for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and after 3 weeks, my spiritual master told me, I was in Vrindavan. He said, Jaya Sachi, this devotee is going to Vrindavan, he has an apartment, go with him and sleep for a couple of days and come back. I did not know why, and I was like, Then I went to this devoted to Delhi. He had an apartment, and I looked myself in the mirror, thinking, my God, I look horrible. I look like 70 years old. If you don't sleep, your body, your face shrivels. And I slept, I think, maybe over 20 hours in one go. And 3 days I would just sleep. He would bring me food. I would just eat and just roll on the ground. So do not try this at home. Artificially imitating Rupa Goswami. I imitated also once Rupa Goswami. I was in a farm in Tennessee, and I wanted to sleep under a different tree every night. Not good. I had only gamsha, and just because Rupa Goswami didn't have anything except gamsha, So I just leaned on the tree. It was horrible, Bugs are eating you. There's a fox also came, and Prabhupada says, don't try to imitate Rupa Goswami unnecessarily. But anyways, so the point here is ignoring all the formalities of the material world. And this, Narada Muni said, such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are benedictory. So this is the benedictory thing. This is why we are doing what we are doing, because it's a benedictory. It's good for us, basically, to translate in a common language. It's very good for you to wake up in the morning and to do things. And then Narada Muni traveled all over the earth, fully satisfied, humble, and non-envious. So we'll speak a little bit about this. Interesting, this word, this in Sanskrit is hatatrapa. This is the word, if you can see in the text, there, Sanskrit text. Hatatrapa. This is what the meaning is, being freed from the formalities of the material world. This is what hatatrapa means. This is what Prabhupada translated. But in another, I was looking for this word hata and trapa in other Prabhupada's books. And this is the meaning in 331-36. Listen to this. Hata trapa means bereft of shame. I thought this is a very interesting point. Bereft of shame. Because we are, as a devotees, we should be bereft of shame. We should present who we are. Who we are, this is who we are, this is our philosophy. And nowadays it's good enough, nobody's going to send you, throw to the lions to get killed or into jail, like in Soviet Union, this devotee, a friend of mine, what is his name, who wrote Salted Bread? No, he died, Sachasukha, but the Prabhu, who wrote the book. Anyways, friend of mine, which I don't remember his name. And so we can be who we are if we are firmly. No. What? No. It could be. No, I don't know. Anyways, all of respect. But the point is, that bereft of shame means that we are not concerned what will people think about us. Not that we go and devotee, embracing trees, sometimes in Harinam. Devotees in Harinam embracing trees and people are watching, oh my God, these people. We don't do things like this, but we are not ashamed of who we are. We are not ashamed of who we are. We are the Hare Krishnas. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, I have also many bad things to say about you. Many things. But mostly people, just yesterday I was talking to this one lady. Is she here? No. She was a guest. First time, came to the Sunday feast, and she was very interested, about our lifestyle, and because you presented, this is a cool lifestyle actually, you travel all over the world. Oh, I was just in India, I was just in Abu Dhabi, I was like, people like, what? Who travels like this? Who has a friends in Australia or Hawaii, So we have friends and family all over the world actually. And we have the best philosophy and we have the healthiest lifestyle. Hare Krishna. We could have healthiest lifestyle. So we have what to speak of philosophy, we have the best philosophy. One of my goals in the next, 10 years is to present philosophy to people in general, for them to see that they have a very big, you can say, background of what are we doing. Because people, when see us on the street, Hare Krishna, and they think like, wow, tambourines, and what is this? Some sentimentalists. But in reality, we have a big philosophy behind it. It is the process that we follow, it appears to be sentimental, even in times of Lord Chaitanya. And like Ravindra Sarup Prabhu, he made this very good point that he was talking to there was interfaith dialogue, very big, important religious leaders. And Ravindra Sarup Prabhu presented a paper saying that there's two ways of approaching spirituality. One is called ecstatic or sentimental, and this is like, and one is called logical or reasonable. And we have this one big scholar called William Lane Craig, Christian scholar, and he has this website called Reasonable Faith. And this is like a faith with reason. There's a philosophy, and this ecstatic is made by these people who are reasonable. They made this word for those who are not smart enough to understand the philosophy, but they going to a church and dancing on the festivals and this and this. So we belong to this ecstatic section. But Ravindra Sarup Prabhu said the biggest challenge of every religious group is to actually connect these two. To connect this so-called common or ecstatic movement to the reasonable or logical movement. So this is what we are also missing in the Hare Krishna movement, that we need to present our Krishna conscious philosophy, that we actually having really philosophical background of what do we do, and we have a philosophy to pair your own materialistic philosophy. There's these atheists, so there's so many philosophers, but we can actually pair all of them. any field. So this is the I think in the future if we want to establish our movement, we have to show this. We have to show our philosophy. And that's why book distribution is very important, because philosophy is there, particularly Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, Bhagavad Gita is the introduction, you can say, Prabhupada says, for the spiritual life. If you are not the body, you are not the mind, but you are something else, and this is the soul. But Srimad Bhagavatam explains, I'm just now writing one little essay on the 5th canto on hell, to hell with the hell. So we have everything. We have physics, we have mathematics, everything. We have astronomy. We have all kinds of sciences in our you can say tradition. So we need to slowly to present this to the world, so the world can see, wow, they're not just singing; they actually have this, which may be even better than ours. So, so this is this hatta trapa, means bereft of shame. We should not be thinking that, oh, these people are better than me. They are not better than you. They are not better than you. Of course, if they are majority, then it's difficult to be, how do you say, Jaya Sacinandana Madan Mohan ki Jai. It is difficult to be confident, too confident, especially if you don't have so much faith in Krishna consciousness, or if in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and then all the neighbors, and then you have a weird thing, bing, 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 ringing bells and incense, and your neighbor asks you, what is this smell coming out of your room? And you said, well, this is, incense. So like this, some years ago, me and my wife moved to one apartment, and so the neighbors are always kind of looking, what do we do, and then one Mataji visited us, and these neighbors came out of their apartment, and this Mataji said, Namaste, Hare Krishna. And we were like, oh my God, don't say, and then the woman replied, Namaste. I was like, oh, it's so easy, actually. Namaste, I'm Hindu, I actually practice Hinduism. Oh, really? Nice. Anyway, so this is not bereft of shame. So coming back to the leaders here, I'm going to the purport sentence by sentence, so it's easier to elaborate. So the details, the first purport, the first sentence of the purport says, the life of a sincere devotee of the Lord is thus explained in a nutshell by Narada Muni by his personal example. So the life of a devotee is explained by his personal example. Narada Muni didn't just say, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Actually, he said, I did this, I did that. So therefore, when we, again, listen to senior devotees, in Prabhupada's time, they did this and they did that, you're like, wow, they actually did this. They actually did this. I was talking yesterday to Godrum, how devotees, Prabhupada instilled his interest into devotees' interest. There's a philosophy called philosophy of interest. I actually wrote one paper on this. And it's, there's two types of interest. Interest, your personal interest, bedürfnis, your personal needs. And people I like this car, I don't like that car. I like this food, I don't like that food. So we all have our personal interest and personal attractions, But, and then there's a social interest, which we have to sometimes follow. There's, FC Bayern plays, everybody's like, FC Bayern, there was recently we were in Munich, everything was blocked, the whole S-Bahn, everything, because FC Bayern won something. I don't know what did they win, but they won something. So the interest of the society, as you can say, influenced the personal interest. So Srila Prabhupada managed, we do not know how, it's a mystical process, empowered by Krishna, Shakti Avatar, he put his interest, which is Krishna's interest, into our own heads and hearts, and we are like the Hare Krishnas. And Prabhupada is not here, and we are following his interests. This is amazing. This is the most amazing things. So, so this is the goal, to actually have Krishna's interest becoming our interests. So this is what says here, the life of a devotee is shown by his personal example. So the personal example that I'm following, I have Krishna's interests. My interest is not different from Krishna's interest. This is amazing. And I think, once I woke up and, and once I visited my parents a long time ago, and then I made some soup, brennesel. I picked up brennesel soup. I liked brennesel. Brennesel is stingy nettles in English. And I made a soup. I offered it. I gave to my parents, and I wanted to, I finished my bowl, and I wanted to take more. So then I went and I washed my hands. And my parents like, why are you washing your hands? And I said, oh, sorry. It was just automatic. I was thinking, this is not me. This is Krishna. I'm doing it so automatically. So we do so many things now automatically. This become, as they call it, second nature. Second nature, don't touch this, don't do this, don't do that, don't do, it's just that it becomes second nature. We accepted somebody else's interest. So this is the first thing of a leader, is that this leader should have aligned his or her interests with Krishna's interests and give the example. And give the example. So when this person walks, somebody said, oh, I like to follow this person. And why would you follow this person? Because this person is exemplifying this, what I'm reading in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, this is the first thing what I thought the leader should have. When the devotees join, they will think like, wow, look at him. I like to do like this. Look at her. So this is the thing. Then I have this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Artha gyat samshaya cheta tata shreyan svakarma krit mukta sangastato bhuyam abhogda dharmam atmanaha. Better than the Brahmana who knows the purpose of the Vedas. So we have different levels of, you can say, giving an example, of being an example. The one who knows the Vedas, we know the Shastra, and is a senior devotee, and you say, wow, this is a senior devotee. But better than the one who is a senior devotee, who knows the Vedas, is the one who can dissipate the doubts. So it's nice to know, and people say, wow, this person devotee is following so many years, but it's better, again, there's no better and worse in Krishna consciousness. It's just for the sake of comparison. It is better. Can you please, Prabhu, do this later? Because it's disturbing. Thank you. The better is the one who can dissipate the doubts. So you can go to somebody and you say, Prabhu, Mataji, I have this doubt or I have this problem. Can you please, try to answer or give me some answer? So this is better. And we have in the Hare Krishna movement, nowadays, this is called mentor. But we have a senior devotees and we can ask anybody. And we can have a mentor. This is in Vedic terms called Shiksha Guru. And Shiksha Guru, to come back again, is not just the person who answers your question. Shiksha Guru is a little more than that. I don't want to talk too much about it, but the Shiksha Guru, if you say, he's my Shiksha Guru, that means that you accept him as your spiritual master. So that's like a little bit different than just being a person who answers your questions. So before we accept somebody or ask somebody, can you become a Shiksha Guru, think about twice. Would you like this person to be your guru at all? But the questions we can ask to senior devotees, we can ask questions in the class. Once Adipurusha Prabhu, the Adipurusha Prabhu, famous Adipurusha Prabhu, I asked him some question or something, and I said, what do you do when somebody's asked you to become his mentor? One devotee asked me. And he said, what mentor? Mentor is, I'm here giving lectures, and people in the audience, they can ask me as many questions as they want. And this is mentorship. So I thought it was an interesting concept, Anyways, so better than those who can dissipate all the doubts is one who strictly follows the Brahminical principles. Meaning one who strictly follows the vows, one who strictly follows the, chanting, one who is actually advanced, you can say. One who is very advanced, we call this advanced. It's a very vague term. Or is it advanced devotee? What does that mean? Nobody knows. Oh, he's an advanced. Oh, really? How? How do you know? Well, he's a GBC. He must be very advanced. This mostly in India. If you are positioned, that means you're advanced. If you're not in position, you're not advanced. This is I'm banalized. I said making it a little gross, but we should, some devotees say, oh, he's a very advanced devotee, or she's a very advanced Mataji. So better than this, better than being advanced is to be a pure devotee of the Lord. Better to be pure devotee. So this is the gradations of who we can be as examples. We can know the Vedas, we can know the Shastra, we can, as a temple president, we can clear the doubts. There's some temple presidents who are just managers. They don't answer any questions. As I was mentioning yesterday, or day before yesterday, this temple president was very displeased with my personality, and he wanted to fight behind the temple, fist fight. And I said, well, but he knew the Shastra. So there are leaders like this who are just managers. Who are the guy who pay the bills, basically. I'm paying the bills. So this is the one type of leader. Another type of leader is the one who devotees confide in him. He's actually knows the Shastra. He can actually help new devotees make progress. And then there's the one who is actually advanced, who can, by his blessings or her blessings, you can make progress. There are so many examples that the temple president say, I want you tomorrow to distribute 100 books. And he said, but I never did this. You just go and Krishna will help you. And they distribute 100 books by the grace of the temple president. So temple president is not stereotype. Different kinds of temple president or leader or whatever leaders of the yatras. And the best is the one who is a pure devotee. Imagine you have a temple president, a pure devotee. Prabhupada was actually, in Gaudiya Math, Prabhupada was temple commander in one temple. Imagine you have a pure devotee as a temple commander. Prabhupada. He's a Shakti Vaishya, the temple commander, yeah. So that's also available. Just the problem is that the people did not see. The devotees living in temple couldn't recognize Prabhupada as Shakti Vaishya. But Shakti Vaishya is your temple commander. So it's possible. All right, and all these four, whatever, how many types of leaders, said they execute devotional service without expectations or reward. So no expectation. We do our service with no expectation. We get frustrated. I get frustrated many times. We travel all the time, and then somebody invites me for a preaching program, and I go like 4 people or 3 people. I was thinking, oh my, I travel 1.5 hours, and I arrived at 3 people there, and one of them is sleeping. I think like, why did I come here, you know? But without expectations. We just preach to the 3 people. Krishna brought me, Krishna wants me to speak to the 3 people. Sometimes Krishna wants you to speak to the 150 people, sometimes to the 3 people. No expectations, and even more so, no reward. No reward. If Krishna wants me to, be advanced, if Krishna wants me to do this or to become famous devotee, Krishna will make it. If Krishna doesn't want me to, Krishna doesn't want me to. No expectations, any kind, and no reward. So this person who can employ the principles laid down in the Vedic literature and who teaches the disciples in this way is called an acharya. So acharya is a very big word, but we should all become, small acharyas, you can say. All the leaders should become small acharyas. In a sense, to actually care for their, subjects, as they say. So, this is the first part, is quality to 9. Second part, what I want to say, second quality of a leader is he's training others to go, Prabhupada says, training others to go back to Godhead and out of this material world. So this is the second, this is verse 227, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. Na yatra shoko na jara na mrityur, nartir na chodvega ritte kutaschit, yachitato dah kripa yanidam vidam, duranta dukkha prabhavanu darshanat. This is the very nice verse describing the Satya Loka, Brahma's planet. We always think like these higher planets must be really, really cool planets, Heavenly planets are cool. What to speak of the others, the Tapaloka, Maharloka, and Satyaloka is the highest planet. And listen to this. In this planet, there is no pain, there's no old age, and no death. That's nice. No pain, no toothaches, no nothing. And no old age. We don't get old. And no death. It must be a really nice place. Prabhupada said, there is no pain of any kind and no anxieties. No anxieties. We are full of anxieties. At least, speaking of my... Sometimes, due to the high consciousness, there's a feeling of compassion for those in the lower planets due to unawareness of devotional service. So this is their main problem. Sometimes they feel like, oh, these people down there, they're suffering. This is their main anxiety. This is a very nice place, Satyaloka. So, Prabhupada said, the person who actually go back to Godhead, he is free from material existence, including pain, birth, old age, and disease and death. Said, all the bona fide preachers and acharyas preach this truth of returning back to Godhead and warn men not to make a false plan for happiness in a place where happiness is only a myth. So this, I thought, this is the very important and again needed at this time. First of all, to give very good example of being Krishna conscious, as the part 1 said, and the second, to actually speak to the people in general. No, this material world is actually not good. Even in Satyaloka, it's wonderful. It's not a place for us. Our place is to go back to Godhead. And Prabhupada says, in this plane, happiness is only a myth. Again, in the 90s, Prabhupada was speaking in the 90s, Vishwadev, management in the 90s, we all know, whoever lives a little longer in the Hare Krishna movement, management in the 90s was very brush and heavy. And immediately the leaders take the sword, and he said, "You want to accept what I say?" And he was like, "Okay, yes." Meaning they were neglecting this part of actually living. The devotees are living beings. They live in this material world. They thought we all go back to Godhead and everything else is Maya. If you don't live in the temple, you are in Maya. So we all took cold showers. I woke up many times at 1 o'clock because everything is Maya. Sleeping is Maya. Hare Krishna. Eating 1 chapati a day because everything is Maya. And then after some time we could not sustain this thing, and then many devotees left or got disappointed in themselves. How could I? I was doing 12 years and suddenly I could not follow the principles. What's happening? What's happening to me? The process doesn't work. And then some of the spiritual masters start leaving the movement, leaving the disciples, and then the disciples thought, oh, this is impossible. So the doubts start creeping in. And nowadays we have much better situation. We care for people, at least as Krishna Prabhu was saying, going to the forest for 3 hours is a devotee care program. We care for devotees' health. And that was really nice, actually. Also association devotees walk in the forest. But the point is that now is much better, much more reasonable. And we should continue to care for you can say, larger congregation, not only for the devotees who are practicing, who are chanting, but we should, as this one Christian preacher, I don't want to mention his name, he divided everything in 5 rings. He divided his preaching in 5 rings. First ring was the core of the devotees. Core means pujaris, cooks, temple presidents, like a core of devotees. The second ring is those who are initiated devotees who are, convinced that they are doing service, that they have a guru. And so this is the second ring. The third ring is the people who are regulars. The people who are interested in Krishna consciousness, they'll come. And the fourth ring, fourth or fifth ring, this is the fourth ring is possible candidates who could become our members, who come once a year. We have members who come only for Janmashtami, or members who come only for Ratha Yatras. So this is the fourth ring, and the fifth ring is the crowd, people in general. So when they preach, they have this in mind. So they have a preacher for each of these groups, care for people and so on and so forth, spiritual care. So yes, we should care to all this. We should cater to all of these people. And we should not be harsh to. I was reading this morning about Grihastha ashram, because we were talking about this yesterday, about charity, and the Grihastha should actually main thing, they should give charity to everybody, even to the animals. It is described that spiders, in your home, and flies or whatever, snakes. I had experience this year in Mayapur. I was in Mayapur, and a snake came to my window. And I was like, oh my God, snake came in my window. And I was thinking, I should feed a snake, but at the same time, with what should I feed a snake? But snake came to eat a gecko. Gecko is a lizard who lives in my room. And the gecko, we know from India, geckos are eating mosquitoes. So gecko is doing service for me. I was thinking, gecko is doing service for me. And snake wants to eat the gecko, my gecko. So, but at the same time, I should be merciful to the snake. So this was a dilemma. Should I let the snake eat my gecko? Or should I protect my gecko? And I decided to protect my gecko. It was in one sense, it was a selfish thing. But, we have to protect. And also because he's doing valuable service, he's eating mosquitoes. So we have sometimes dilemma like this, but the point is that we should feed everybody. We should feed everybody. Prabhupada says he was leaving always rice in a bowl for mice to eat in the evening. And what to speak of other people, Grihasthas should actually, they said one of the main things, Grihasthas should give the charity Invite other devotees. So devotees, please invite other devotees to your homes for prasadam. That doesn't need to be pizza. Devotees always invite for pizza. It doesn't need to be pizza. Make cookies and tea. That's enough. We make pizzas or lasagnas or some heavy thing. Just simple thing. So invite each other. This is give charity to each other. In India, I was now in Mayapur, and this one devotee friend of mine, Kanta, what is this Kanta? Pujari? Krishna Kanta. He's a German devotee. He's Pujari in Mayapur since 20 years. And he gave me a dhoti, white dhoti. And I said, are you sure? He said, oh, I have so many. He said, in India is a tradition, when you see a sadhu, you give him a cloth. So give each other presents, dadati pratigrinati, inquire, priti lakshanam, share your minds in confidence. And what else? Bhumte bojayate. So this is we should do this, follow this instruction of Rupa Goswami and associate with devotees in such a way, especially grihastas. The brahmacharis, they have their own way, their own lifestyle. Ripped dhoti, sewn 3 times. This is brahmachari life, and but and we should respect their ashram, and brahmacharis should respect the grihastha ashram. And grihastha ashram, again, coming back to this. But the whole point of even maintaining all these people and caring for all these people, the goal is not to create heaven on earth, but the goal is to actually go back to Godhead. So this should be the final goal of all this care, devotee care and care for this and preaching and seminars. And it's not just I should give seminar because I want to become a seminar giver or something. But actually, I should give seminar for people to understand better Krishna consciousness and to be able to go back to Godhead. So this should be the goal of a preacher. And there's a very interesting letter, or you can say a famous letter, written in 1968 by Srila Prabhupada, meaning showing this was his mood from the very beginning, and written to Jaya Mazo. I never found out who that is. Maybe somebody knows. Jaya Mazo. I looked at it, there's only this one letter to him. I don't know, is it a female or male? I think Jaya sounds like a male. Jaya, but Jaya with A. Jaya Mazu. Jaya Mazu. So I don't know, is it Italian name? I don't know. It sounds like an Italian. You Italian? So this is this is what it says. Because you are already acquainted with Krishna, I have no objection accepting you as my disciple. So he asked Srila Prabhupada to give him initiation. So Prabhupada explained this, and this is one part of the letter. I thank you very much for your appreciation of my disciples in New York. And you will be glad to know that all my disciples in different centers are being so trained. So Prabhupada wants to say, we have every temple is independent. Prabhupada wanted every temple to be managerially independent, but he wanted to have a uniform training. Every devotee should behave, follow the principles in a certain way, follow the Krishna consciousness in a certain way. And he said, all my centers, people are so trained. The 4 regulative principles, so he names them. And then listen to this. Character building is the groundwork for seating Krishna consciousness, and the Vedic injunction in one can advance in spiritual life by following the rules of austerity and celibacy. So this is the building the character, number 1, and number 2, following the rules and regulations, and thereby getting the Shakti by following this. And because, Prabhupada says, we do not bluff our students that student has a liberty to do all sorts of nonsense. At the same time, advance in spiritual life. We don't bluff students like this. And because we are a little bit strict in this matter, Prabhupada said a little bit strict, 4 regulative principles a little bit, 16 rounds a little bit, we do not have large amount of followers. Neither do we want any larger, no-nonsense followers. We do want no-nonsense followers. We do not want nonsense followers. So Prabhupada says, not only that we cannot attract many, but we don't want nonsense followers. Meaning, Prabhupada says in the end, when we meet, we shall talk further on this matter, and I hope you shall be initiated. Meaning, I hope you will accept this, what I say. So the point here is that we have to train people. We have to train people in this way. So all this namahata, all the whatever, now there's models of meeting online. We have so many people read online, people chant together online. What does they do online? What was it? We heard the last time. Of people fast online together. I heard this. Are you? Tomorrow, Ekadashi, they fast together online. You know, I don't know how does that work, but somehow they fast online together. So there are different models nowadays, but the point here is all this. The goal of those should be to go back to Krishna, go back to Godhead, because life is very short. We see there was a picture yesterday of our Prabhu, Gopati Prabhu, who has left us so prematurely. But Prabhupada says there's no prematurely. When you are ready to go, when Krishna wants you to go, you will go, whether you are ready or not ready. So better be ready. So this is our preaching. Yes, be ready. And we can preach all over. This is a letter to Govardhan. We can preach all over the world that the only way to be saved from collective individual devastation is to take to the chanting of Hare Krishna. Because living in the material world is a devastation. We should not have illusion, but we should, live smartly, as Prabhupada wanted us to live smartly. He wanted us eventually, not right now, but maybe at 300, 500 years. Maharaj was saying in 20 years, we will be establishing Kshatriya Dharma. My humble prediction, not so humble prediction, is 300 to 500 years. Some kind of Varnashram Dharma will happen, something like this. Because we see in Christianity, there was so much turmoil in the beginning, and only after like 200-300 years they get some shape. Islam also, I'm not an expert in Islam, but also took him some years. So why would it be different for us? We will also take a couple of 100 years. But meanwhile, we can preach, we can organize ourselves in smaller way and preach to people and preach to ourselves that the goal of all we're doing, my goal of being temple president is to go back to Godhead. As Prabhupada says, this famous letter, Prabhupada says, that you became temple president is a sign that Krishna has recognized your sincerity. Krishna has recognized your service. That's why you became temple president, not because, I wanted to be, out of the way, I'm coming. So this is the final goal. So there's another part of this lecture, that part 3, but I will not have time for all this. But at least these 2 points, these 2 parts, is to understand that this is what I think leaders at this moment have to step up, you can say. And as Maharaj was saying yesterday, a little bit of a Kshatriya spirit, to be brave and to go for it and not to be ashamed of who we are. And just go for it. And, the only thing what we can get negative if you ask somebody is no. There's not much. We know in Sankirtan, excuse me, sir, no. Okay, next. We don't care. So we can go to different, wherever, if you're leaders, who was in Nilamada yesterday, was, we have this settle, the points, different problems we are dealing as leaders, the temple president, and he wrote this as integrieren, to integrate with the wider society. So this is one of the problems. Not problems, this is one of the things we have to think about. But for this, we just have to go to people, and the worst thing is can happen to say no. That's all. Worst thing. We cannot lose the yeah, the worst thing is that we can lose reputation, which we don't have. Nobody will kill us, And if they kill us, Haribol, Thank you for shortening my suffering in the material world. Anyways, I thank you very much for your attention. And if you would have 1 question or 2 questions or whatever questions. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so I very much like your point on the presidents, that they should be inspired with and leading with example. And what I think really is inspiring is experience, that we make some experiences in spiritual consciousness. This is really what keeps us going, I believe. At least for me, it's like that. And so the temple president should also be somebody who has experience and is advanced in a sense of being not so much in the ego consciousness, or in a spiritual consciousness. And how would you cultivate presidents that have more advanced experiences, so they would also lead with this example? You know what I mean?
No. How would you cultivate temple presidents?
Yeah. So
How can you want to cultivate temple?
More purified presidents, like spiritually.
I mean, or what kind of advice, or this is what you want to say, or I don't, an exact, or you want to cultivate temples? I just don't understand.
And, I feel like the ISKCON is a lack of experience, or also Sacinandana, for example, says that. And I feel because of that, the young generation especially is not so sincere. You understand what I mean?
Relatively. Okay, let me try to, yes.
So I feel like what ISKCON needs is experienced devotees who can give their experiences on.
Yes, but yes, true. We need experienced devotees. At the same time, we need to, as again, train the devotees. And training devotees, as it says here, to train devotees to actually make advancement is to throw them into the fire sometimes. And these, as a younger devotee, go through fire. If you go through fire, particularly one of the best things, I personally was very young devotee. I was maybe 6 months in the movement. We were traveling in India. We had a bus. I was a new devotee, and somehow the leader was here to go somewhere immediately, and they let me to be a leader of the bus. I'm just some guy. I was like maybe seven, eight devotees in the bus. So we travel, and I became leader very early. And then later on, this was in 1996. So I was 27 years old. How old are you? 22. I was 27 years old, and my spiritual master wanted me to find a new place to open a temple in one city. So I was a brahmachari. I was a book distributor, and I found a house. It took me 2-3 months, but I found a really nice house, perfect location, everything. And I thought, okay, I did my duty. Haribol, I'm a Sankirtan devotee. I really liked it. I was distributing books in the airports, and and then we went to the one preaching engagement called Rainbow Gathering. So then we went and we made 12 devotees in this brand new devotees, shaved them up. So then we came, and the temple was suddenly full with devotees. And I thought, okay, we did it. I did my bit. I was cooking. I was preaching to everybody. I was the only initiated devotee. And so we met some devotees. I preached them a little bit. I put them dhoti on. I showed them basic principles, and then we brought them back to the temple. And then, I thought, okay, I'm going back to my traveling, and Hare Krishna, see you later. And then my spiritual master said, well, just actually, yours next morning, I woke up at my 4 o'clock. I wake up at 4, I chant my rounds, and everybody was sleeping. The bhaktas were, sleeping hippies, And then he said, just actually, your bhaktas are sleeping. I said, they're not my bhakta, no, you are the temple president. I said, what? I said, you are the temple president now. Because we were waiting for one devotee to come to be a temple president, experienced devotee, older devotee. And he didn't come. And there I was, I never paid bill in my life. I never did anything. I never, when I was, before I joined, I eat and I leave like this. And I don't even put the plate in the, washing. My mother did everything. I was so horrible, Laundry, I take my laundry off and I just put it on the ground. And my mother comes, machine comes, pick up the laundry and wash it and come back with all folded and everything. I didn't do anything. I never cooked. Nothing. And then suddenly I have to become temple president. How do you do this? Either like cold sweat for 3 days. It's like, how do I do? I don't know how to do this. I was really in panic. And I told my spiritual master, and he said, don't worry, the Krishna will help you. You know, Hare Krishna movement, Krishna will help you. Krishna will help me. But so he threw me into the fire. And I went through some hells and some heavens, and in the end become really ecstatic. But it took me some time. So like, something like this, the experienced leader should see the potential. If I would be a temple president, if I became temple president at some place, I would first thing when I see who can be potentially doing something here. Oh, he can be temple commander. He can be. They don't know that, but you know. And who can be my successor? This is the first thing I'm looking. Who can be the temple president after I leave? And I'd say, him. He is a little puffed up. If Bhakta is a little puffed up and a little arrogant, that's the future temple president. I think that's him, and I cultivate him. I bring him in. Whenever I go somewhere, he drives next to me, and we are the team. Because I see this is the potentially God. I'm not saying that we should be puffed up, but usually it is like this. If someone is a little arrogant, that's a good one. Because these people want to do something. I'm not undermining humility. Humility is very nice. It's actually a necessary part of but as a management concern. So like this, and then you see, okay, this guy can be this guy can be this. I had one devotee and I saw he's very Brahminical. And I didn't know what to do with him. I tried to send him a Sankirtan, he's like useless, I tried to do this, but he liked to do the local, in the temple things. And one day I said, would you like to be a pujari? He said, I could try this, So I bought the deities. I bought the deities for him to become a pujari. That's why I bought the deities. We didn't have a deities in our first temple. It was just like pictures, So I said, I will buy the deities so he can have some service. And he proved to be a very good pujari. He became even, after some time, minister, helper, what is his name, Prabhu? From minister book of Pujarism. Nrsimha Kavacha. He became his assistant for Europe. But this is how it started. I was thinking, how do I engage this guy? Because he's kind of useless for everything. He does not to. Again, not to offend Pujaris. Please do not be offended. But either people like this, I did not know what to do with him. But I'm thinking, how can I engage this guy? How can I engage this girl? How do I engage her? What do I engage her? And I found one girl was also not much. She couldn't do this, she couldn't that. But I saw she likes to speak. She was a good talker. I said, how about if you speak during the Sunday feast? You make announcements and you receive the guests. So I put her at the door. So when people come to the Sunday feast, she greets everybody. And then I made a list. All my Sunday feasts, I make a list of the program, and I give to people when they come in, they know what to expect. Because sometimes, one guy told me, I enter the temple, I don't know, am I going to come out? You don't know. Some people standing there with strange clothes, you go inside, you never know what's going to happen there. But you give them the list, from 7 to 7:15, this. So she was standing and giving the list to the people. You can put your shoes here, you can do this. And then announcements, whoever, now we have this program, repeated, now we have 50 minutes of a kirtan, now we have this and that. Whoever likes to know more, there's a book table, you can speak to me. She was very, very good. So leaders have to find, you have to kind of a little bit poke and find what is the good quality of a person. If they don't have good qualities, just wash, clean, wash. They don't have any qualities. And sooner or later, something will come out. So again, if I see that somebody has the qualities to be a leader, I immediately put him to become a leader or something. And in this way, you put him in the fire, you train him, or if there's a festival, Temple should always have fresh challenge, Prabhupada says. You should have a festivals, you should have a programs outside. And in this way, young devotees get strong by preaching to the non-devotees and by doing something together. That's why husband and wife are very strong unit. Why are they a strong unit? Because they go through hell and heaven together. Together. And then it's your crew, it's your, svajana, it's your own people. So temple president should be like this. We go together, we do things together, we go to hell together, we go to heaven together, we have fun together, we play, we go whatever. I was in one area, I would take my devotees once every couple of months. We had a snow-capped mountain, even in the summertime there was snow. So we'd go and, not skiing, but we would take linoleum, we would slide in linoleum on the snow. And so you have to do something together, go to the mountain together, and in this way you gain some kind of a unity, and these devotees gain experience together. Then it's a different story. I spoke way too long, but Hare Krishna.
Maybe you can continue.
We can continue later on, but this is already late. I thank you very much. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.